Well guys, welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show, except this one is not fishing. I do lots of other jobs and a lot of requests come in, can we see more gardening stuff? So if you're a fisherman and you do a bit of gardening, I'm sure you'll enjoy watching this. We get a lot of people, especially from over in the States, say they really enjoy watching them. I guess because it's a different country and they see what's going on. So guys, we always put a fishing film up on a Friday if we can. Sometimes I put a midweek one as well. I do as much as I can, but this one is no fishing. You might want to watch it anyway. I'm going to put some relaxing stuff on there. I'm going to get you that, is it zen or chill or whatever it is? Look, it's what I do as well. I don't just do fishing, I do all my property jobs and I like a bit of gardening. Sit back, relax, enjoy. At least it might take your mind off this awful virus for 30 minutes. So back into the potting shed, but there is a customer here in the shape of a wasp. He's gone out, that's lucky, good for him. So these are damp. I've done the beans last night. You can see, although they were pointing this way, I've turned them around the other way and they're already starting to go back there. So these ones are ready to be picked out. Look, not everything's going to go, not everything's going to get used, there's no question of that. These are drying out again. Those two are the cucumbers. So I'm figuring that might be my cosmos there. Looks like a 2, huge success rate. These are weeds, and I don't think much has happened to those ones. So these are the ones I'm going to be basing it on. Got my pots. Just go and find some soil, and we'll get working in here. There's all my ties. They're probably years old, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I've got some spare pots here actually, which I might be using. I don't want them quite that small. But obviously these things, when you buy your plants, keep them all as spares. Not really love it, it's too sort of peaty for me. But these plants will be fine. Just to get them started. So, now we've got our plants here, and I find the best way to separate these is really to use something like a teaspoon. Now these are damp from last night, so I go down with the teaspoon, tease it away because I don't want to damage any roots here. Just turn the teaspoon around, rock it from side to side, hold the plant gently just like this. I'm just putting them in. And the main thing I find, don't crush them too hard. Okay, so just you can make a little hole there, like that with the teaspoon. Loosen the soil there. You might just be able to see bits of it. I'm going to just break that one anyway. Look, there's the roots there to show you. If they're a bit stalky, all I do, I've got to be perfectly honest, might be a bit of a cheat, bury them a little bit deeper. That one I haven't buried that deep. This one I have. So this one should come through a little bit stronger. And I'll transplant the seedlings when I've got that second pair of leaves up. I've no idea what it says in the books, but that's what I'm doing. I've done it for years. There we go. The teaspoon's just handy, because if you've got clumping great big fingers, you can just sometimes squash them. These ones seem to have done particularly well. The main thing is to don't not damage that middle stem. Right, you can see they're all planted. I've got these down as cosmos. They could be weeds, I haven't got a clue. 2 cucumbers which are going to dry out there. 2 unknowns, which those can be moved over there, or they're probably just no takers. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I've got about 2 dozen or 20 tomato plants, which I might lose some, but once they get to the second leaf coming up, I should be alright. But they've got to be watered in. I'm not putting them in the greenhouse. The wife has stuff, the daughter has stuff in there drying out, and it's too hot in there. So in here is much better temperature. I'll leave the door open as well. As I said before, this is compost, so it soaks up, but it also dries out quickly. That is the sort of downside of it. And these will need a couple of days before they actually pull around, because they're seedlings and they're very, very going to be what I call weak. You see the way that one fell over just here? That will pull itself back up. So I'm trying to water the edge of the pot rather than sort of knock the plant over. Until they get a stronger stem, you just have to be a little bit wary of them. Just go around the edge of the pot. Totally awesome tips. I'm not a gardener. Well, of course I'm a gardener. I've been doing it for 40, 50 years, but I don't follow the books. You know what you want to get? You want to go get some of those old school books. They're the ones to get. I'm going to water those, so I don't even know what's in there. Cucumbers always like to be wet. This one hasn't taken at all. I'm sending that back for a refund. Right, all done there. Anything in the mouse traps and rat traps? No. Next job is go in the workshop. I've got to nail that down, and down the back there I've got some fallen down panelling on the side, just the edge of the garden. I'm going to do that, and then that can be stained as well. Well, wifey wants this D section trimmed down a bit, levelled up. These are a pain. I think they come off the trees. I'm going to try and get one up. They have a huge root on them. So recognise that one, folks, gardeners. Look at the root on that. They grew up between the others. There's another one here, look, see? You have to, don't snap them at the top, get right down, and you need to get the whole root off. Otherwise you turn into what I call a snapper weed. If you snap anything, it's going to grow again. And of course, if I cut these like this, I've cut the leaves off, so I can't then, oh, that one I snapped, can't help it. I can't then actually see, if I cut that off with a hedge trimmer, I can't see where the root part is, so I get right down. Got this one, it's lovely, it's like stripping wallpaper. Get them up. Oh, that one's well in. It's gone under the concrete. Oh, lovely. I think it's that one up there. The seeds off of that. So I'm going to go round, and then I'm going to trim. Now you can trim this with an electric hedge trimmer, of course you can, or a petrol one. Sometimes you get a better trim using manuals. These are just cheapo ones. So you can sharpen them with a file either side on the bevel. Put some oil in there, and I just do the nut up. So it's just, look, you don't want it so you can't open it, that's no good, and you don't want it too loose because it folds over the bits of plant. It doesn't cut neatly. This should snip neatly. And just look at roughly the right height you want. Like this. And then you can follow your way. Like I've got hedge trimmers, I've got no problem using them, but sometimes it is better to actually get a better job shaping with a pair of manual shears. There's never any shortage of jobs this year, guys, is there? See, now if I cut these off like this, right, I can't see the top, so therefore I can't see the bottom. You go, oh, where's it gone? You know, and then you can pull it up. These are very slow growing. I call it box hedge, box privet. What do you call it? Gardeners out there's got to be some gardeners that are fishermen as well. They must be. There must be some left. Old school. I'm going to net the rest of that pond as well. Get that blanket weed out because we've got a load of rain coming. There's one. Now look, if I'd have snipped these, you reach right down in there. And you can see I've got the root, and that's the one to identify. Like a sort of aggressive underground elder. That one one can come off. And I think, guys, since we had the lockdown, I know everybody must, if they've got a garden, they're going to be trying to maintain it. I think you get more of an appreciation of things, of the plant life and stuff. Well, I've got a boundary bit to repair just along here. It's that support that goes on fencing, and I've used it as a boundary, but I've got a boundary of obviously hawthorn bush here, which I've got to trim the top off, and the pampas grass, which I keep cutting and splitting. There's a bit that's rotted out here, but I'm going to try and salvage that. And the reason wood does rot out is because it comes into contact with the ground. So if you keep it off of the ground, you're going to be okay. See, now that's the bottom end of it. Move it around. You can see that's been touching the ground at the bottom. The damp comes up and it just rots it away. But I can salvage that, I feel, and certainly the two top ones are sound. And those have been there, wait for this, because they haven't touched the ground for 12 to 13 years, I think. Over maybe 11 to 12 years, actually. So they've not lasted bad, have they? But you have to ask yourself why we actually want boundaries. So I've got a hedge there. Why do human species like that nice, neat line? What is there about that neat line that makes us feel happy? Anyway, I feel happy when I get this in. Another job crossed off the list. So I've got to clear this out first. This is going to burn really well. Just got to be a bit careful because there are hawthorns in there. They drop down. Even if it's a dead one, you're going to get spiked, and they seem to have, I'm going to call it like a sort of poison on them, to be honest. They're not great. If you get spiked by a hawthorn, it is painful, even a dead one. Grasp the nettle. I think we're done. Right. So I reverse these and I put that a good bit up there. Sometimes let's get this in. Sometimes I put the stakes in first, put a sledgehammer the other side as a shock, and then nail the fronts on. But I figure the ground here, I might just be able to get these in. Right, boys. We go. More weeds. Right, we'll see how it goes down. It's going, but I feel I need a man's hammer rather than this sawn off one. Let's get this one. It should solve this problem. One-handed. Okay. Here's what's to come. Yeah, that's better. That side. I think, people, that is about as level as it gets. A coat of stain, and it's yet another job off the list. Well, this one's got to come. This is a Lavatera that I put in here, grew last year. Back end it didn't flower, and I put it in here, and I've got support on it because it's so windy down this end. So I figure it's got to come up. Wow, that's a sharp knife, Graeme. Really? No, it's a fork job. Which brings me to the subject of the down here, the duckweed. See there, guys? That's stopping all the sunlight getting through the water for my lilies. Generally it's right on the surface. Look, other stuff growing there. So I'm going to net some of this out, and I'll get a better show of lilies then. Hopefully. Had like a fish moving over there. Brought this back here. I'm going to stake this and see if it can help straighten him up this way, and then see like this. Look at the power in it. Now there's like the little bells that come out. They do look like little bells. Well, they do to me anyway. I'll put a tie around that. There we go. Hopefully by just doing this, it'll only loosely. Just by doing this loosely, I put my finger between so I don't put it too tight. It gives them more space for growing. Hopefully it will go even taller. I reckon that's going to be the tallest one out of all of them. So it's going for the sun rather than down low. Right, I think we might have lift off or snap off. He's up. Look how far the roots have gone down, and they're probably going under the pond liner, but they smell disgusting when they die. They absolutely reek. I think they rot out, that's my honest opinion. Whew. I'm going to tread this down, let it grow, trim it level. This one can come out. So, all very nicely cut, but I've just chopped these off. Now these are a pain. These blow from the fields over there. They had a thistle problem in the field when they had it many years ago. And they sprayed it with some stuff, and it obviously killed the field stuff, but it doesn't kill the actual seed. So using this knife, I can go right round the edge and cut out a good piece of it without disturbing too much of my lawn, and that will grow in. Here's another one up. Various different plants, because it's rounded and I've got a long handle on it like this. I've made my own specialised tool. Now that might shoot again, but it's not going to enjoy life, is it, if I'm coming around with this knife cutting all these guys out. Actually, you can do it quite quickly. These aren't actually thistle seeds ones, but it's much easier to go down in a circular motion like this, leave it around, pull them up, and they're having a bad day. There's plenty. So you can see you can't quite get the base of the root out, but you get a good piece of it there. So I've soaked these overnight, good 24 hours in there, so there's plenty of water. The conker trees are going to start my whole forest now. I'm going to do a complete planting operation. I've got a couple of big pots down here. You can see what happens to them. We take a couple of these. I'll probably have to Probably have to stake them. Let's find a couple of good ones. There we go. That looks a good one. Of course, as usual, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never grown trees before. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put it too deep. Might get two in there actually. One in each corner. That's about the depth that the conker, don't forget, was planted at. I think I could do one in each corner. And then I don't want to go too deep with these, because don't forget the conker, when it falls, just falls on the ground. In my case, on the grass. I'm going to soak those in. I want to keep 1, 2, 3 big ones here for planting out in the ground as per a normal tree. Oh God almighty, I've got loads. I've got absolute forest here, people. So, there we got them in there. We'll see where these go to. I'm going to plant those in an embankment I've got, and I'll grow these separately and just see what they come to. Well, I'll give them a good soaking in. They've had a good soak overnight, so I know they have plenty of water. Who knows? They probably won't grow being like a wild thing. Right, let's get these up on the embankment. These are going to plant a lot deeper. Well, I've actually got an embankment up here which is semi-shaded. So I'm trying to think, would this be a good place if I wanted to grow massive conker trees? Oh God, that is tough. I'm using drain spade, guys, to get down. I'm going to plant them. I'm leaving some of the soil loose here. Let's see what happens. It's the Graeme Pullen totally awesome forest. I'm going to leave a little bit of space at the back there, so otherwise, being on the slope, the water, if I do water it in, it's going to run straight down. So I reckon about there, probably. I can always try. Christ, who dug that hole? Dig a few here. I reckon these should take, people. You see, with this clay, it goes very, very hard. It's good for growing. Actually nutritious wise, I think, but that should be okay. So you can actually see that this season's how they've grown out from the conker with the root there, and even there, the root, I've snapped a bit off there, but I'm hoping it'll grow. Look how long it is, 10 inches already. I'm looking for 100-foot tree at least. Perhaps not this year. The benefit of this, I call it a drain spade, makes a small hole without disturbing the bank too much. Dandelions, the enemy. Whew, it's hard work, this tree planting. Got so many. Oh my God. The root on that, this root on this one. The other thing is, when I come to trim the grass, I have to make a point of not trimming my trees down. Little tip, guys, if you're going around on your lawn and you see dandelions and don't want dandelions, snap them off in the flower stage, not when they're in the seed stage and blow away, because that's going to get you loads more dandelions in your lawn. Next time, so it's far easier, I find. Just pop the heads off and then you can dig them up later. Otherwise you're going to blow it everywhere and you'll have more than you ever bargained for. I'm going to wish I hadn't started this, I can see that now. Well, that's the last one in there. Can only see if they take, water them in, job done. Probably come back in the morning and find the sluggers have eaten them all. Who knows? But they were They were doing okay where they were, but obviously in a long they're going to get cut down. And in there. Whereas at least here they got more than a fighting chance. Well guys, thanks for watching this episode. I'm sorry it wasn't a fishing one. We try and put the fishing ones up every Friday at 7 o'clock. Watch out for it. In the meantime, there's something in between with a lockdown as it is. I'll try and get one of these films up. Hit that subscribe button, TA Fishing, TA Outdoors, and we'll see you guys next time.